Yo, what's good, gamers? What's good? My name is Dr. Ryan Terrell, Psych Sensei, and welcome to the stream, baby. Today, we'll be talking about personality traits and gaming, and do you have the personality to game? We'll see. If you want to learn more about me and what I do, please visit my website, psychsensei.com. There, you can find all the resources from my Discord, my TikTok, my Twitter, my YouTube, my Facebook, my Instagram, my LinkedIn. All of it can be there, found on my website, psychsensei.com. Also, short announcement today. This week I might only have one stream. I'm taking Friday off. So maybe today will be the only one. Maybe I'll sneak in one later, but my Wednesday and my Thursday are looking pretty stacked. So, enjoy it while you still can, I guess. As always, this is a conversation, and a ADHD fun fest. So if there's things that you want to know, if there's things that interest you or whatever, please, type in the chat. I'd rather talk to y'all than learn all by myself. So, without any further ado, let's jump into it, shall we? All right. Oh. All right. Oh no! Oh no! There you go. All right. Today's article is called "The Association Between Personality Traits and Esports Performance." I'm going to try. Matsuzitsky Dobrowowski and Zawalski. I did my best, bros. All right, this is coming out 2020. Is my pencil dead? She's dead. All right, well, she's gonna revive. All right, this is done by 2020. 20. Done out of Poland. Warsaw. Sick. Okay, so we're just going to let the pen charge for a little bit, and then if something comes up, I'm sure we can be a little, we can review it. All right. According to the Global Game Market Report, there are 2.2 billion video game players worldwide. While the popularity of video games as a leisure entertainment activity has visibly grown to such proportions since the advent of home computing, more recent branch of video game related activity is gaining traction worldwide. Electronic esports define esports as a form of sports where the primary aspect of the sport are facilitated by electronic systems. The input of players and teams, as well as the output of esports systems, are mediated by human-computer interfaces. Bro, I don't know if you had this in your house growing up, but back in the day, I remember only having one computer that was in the living room that I had to share with my sister, and I used to crash that thing a lot. My bad. I guess because I wanted to play games and things like that. This is before, I crashed with LimeWire and all that good stuff, but before it was like the CD-ROM games, and we didn't know about defragging and all that kind of stuff, and I crashed it. Good times. Good times. All right, let's leave this here to charge a little bit longer. All right, similar to traditional sports, video games have a substantial number of genres, types. Their unique mechanics attract different types of people, as shown by the relationship between personality traits and video game preferences. That's true, though. That is true. Different types of people gravitate towards different types of games. I mean, think about the typical players of like COD versus players of like League of Legends versus like Apex or Fortnite. There is a certain stereotype or type of player that plays that game. For example, I would say that like jocks, traditional sport athletes might even play traditional sport games, or maybe more jockey players or frat bros play like COD, you know, versus like people who like fantasy or whatever maybe play League of Legends, versus people who like guns may play Valorant and stuff like that. I don't know. But there is different games that different people get attracted to. So it's true. It is true. So when it makes you think, what makes you like the game you play and how do you relate to it and your personality, you know? All right. As in typical sports, esports can take the form of either individual or team-based competitions. Moreover, esports titles have specific rules and schemes, which are typically acquired through the years of hard practice. Absolutely. The clearest differentiating factor is, of course, the lack of physical activity. I mean, it's just a different type of physical activity. Yes, there is a lack of physical activity that I believe gamers need to make sure that they get. Don't get it twisted just because your heart is beating quickly during a very, was that adrenaline focused or adrenaline dumping experience. Just because you're getting the sweating, just because you're getting the heart beating, doesn't mean that you're actually burning calories like you would at the gym. Don't get it twisted. So please go to the gym. Please take care of yourself because, hey, if you think about it, the better you feel physically, the better you can perform in your game. So they're all connected. However, esports professionals must be well coordinated due to the demands of their interface, mouse and keyboard, gamepads, and must also have a great deal of composure and control over their bodies to avoid interference effects like inaccurate sweeping moments while controlling the mouse. Yeah, in esports, it is definitely like fine motor control, accuracy, and then at the same time, the endurance to keep your brain on for longer to continuously be thinking, like strategizing, adjusting, putting information together, and then coordinating all the things that you have in your head to your hands and your mouse on the keyboard to execute it in a third space per se. Because I think the other thing that it's important to consider is that unlike traditional sports where you're basically having a first-person POV of what you're doing, esports, you have like one space removed. So in a sense, you are a puppet master controlling an avatar. Like you don't live in the game, but your avatar does. And so you need to consider that you're not in their world. Instead, you are controlling a character that lives in their own world. And how are you able to understand what they are going through and what you want them to do in that space that you aren't physically in? However, esports professionals must... I can't read that. Oopsies. ADHD. All right. Despite these similarities, there is currently no knowledge regarding which factors contribute to success in esports. Interesting. I mean, there might be more recent research that defines this, but hey, 2020 was wild, wasn't it? Was wild. What a time. What a time. All right. Some expectations can be formed based on the literature relating to expert performance in traditional sports, although this comparison is a distant one at best due to the understandable focus of that research on the physical aspects of performance. One potential point of overlap and the topic of the study is the relationship between performance and personality traits. The interesting thing, though, or maybe the unlucky thing about this is like when we talk about personality and personality traits, it's not like a skill issue. This is just kind of how you were born in the constellation of like you. You know, I think there are studies of personality and like, does personality change over time? Of course it does. Fun fact, it gets solidified when you're 30. You know, at the same time, I would say that personality is a more biologically based thing. Maybe, at least that's what I thought it was. Because I think like even with personality disorders, it's kind of unlucky. That's just like how you see and interact with the world versus trying to change the way you are. You know what I mean? All right. Participation and performance in traditional sports have been shown to relate positively with extroversion. Interesting. Extroversion. At the same time, bro, I feel like I was much more extroverted as a child. And as I got older, I became more introverted. But maybe that's just because of my job and what I'm doing all day, every day. I'm listening to people and I'm thinking with people and I'm talking with people. And so maybe when I'm not in my own space, I'm like, oh my God, okay, I just thought a lot. And I put together things a lot for people. So I just need space and time to be by myself. Maybe. Because again, when you think about introversion or extroversion, what you're thinking about is how people get their energy. So introverts typically get their energy or recharge their energy by being by themselves or being in a smaller group of people or just chilling, versus extroverts get their energy by interacting with people or being in big groups of people. So it's not a good or bad thing being an extrovert or an introvert. Basically, it just describes the way that you recharge your battery. That's all. And everyone's different. One study indicated that only conscientiousness could be considered a valid predictor of traditional sports success. Conscientiousness. I think conscientiousness is very important because you can think of other things, and put together stuff. The two others have shown that higher levels of conscientiousness and lower levels of neuroticism predict athletic performance. Neuroticism, I believe, is like the variability of someone, the inconsistencies. I believe. Conscientiousness, though. Conscientiousness, good. Neuroticism, bad. And participation in national or international competitions. Further, two studies have indicated that superior athletes scored higher in conscientiousness and agreeableness, as well as lower in neuroticism. I'm guessing these two would be higher, conscientiousness and agreeableness, because if you're thinking about other people or teammates, and then you're trying to work well with them, I mean, that's essentially sports, especially if it's a team sport. You need to get along with people and be conscious of others. And neuroticism is basically the stability, I believe. Okay. Concurrently, individuals with higher levels of neuroticism are more prone to mind wandering than those with lower levels of neuroticism. Yes, because neuroticism, again, it's not the I'm crazy, it's the variability and stability in your thoughts, I believe. Okay, concurrently, individuals with higher levels of neuroticism, mind wandering, okay, to select less adaptive and tend to select adaptive coping strategies, which makes me think that they choose more avoidant strategies, and avoidant strategies aren't always great. Given the fact that emotional stability is generally beneficial for player performance in sports, and for non-sport games like poker, it may interlay into the video game context. Video game genres within esports sphere are both competitive and fast-paced, such as emotional stability. As such, emotional stability may be critical for reaching an optimal level of performance. Emotional stability. I would say, in general, stability. Like, can you manage your stress well? Can you manage your emotions well? Can you manage your actions well? I would also say this would go under, like, equals, deregulation. Because, I mean, if you think about it, when you think about emotional stability, it's the thing that I'm thinking about is, like, having an emotional thermostat. Can you bring it back down to baseline when it's too high? And if it's too low, can you increase it back to baseline, thus being stable? Finally, it is also worth noting that researchers have previously shown a relationship between personality traits and participation in either individual or team sports, indicating that team sport participants tend to be more agreeable. That makes sense to me. You do need to work on a team. You need to agree with people on a team. You need to be a teammate versus shoving down what you think by yourself. Even, I mean, that's why I'm thinking, if you prefer to play singles in tennis versus doubles, do you want to wrestle, for example, or run track versus playing play basketball, you know? And extroverted. Okay, so indicating that team sport participants tend to be more agreeable and extroverted. That makes sense. Like, you're around people, you get your energy from people, thus you're with them, and then you are agreeable, so you're working well with them. That makes sense. That also makes me think, for yourself, what types of games do you enjoy? Do you like single player games? Or, for example, do you like the single player aspect of your team game? Like, for example, if you play League of Legends, do you just like laning phase? Or are you the jungler and you just like playing for yourself, you know, or playing the carry character? I'm not sure. But just even thinking about how you play your game, or a game you select, and what you like about that game and that position. The purpose of the study is to explore the relationship between esport performance and personality traits in order to begin building a base of knowledge about this accelerating social phenomenon. We choose to focus on the highly popular esport game League of Legends. League of Legends belongs to the leading genre in terms of players and watchers. I'm not sure how that changes over time, but currently, dude, my dog is snoring. Shy. He got shy. He is snoring though. I can feel him vibrating. All right. Where were we? Okay. Despite its popularity, research regarding League of Legends and other mobile games is scarce in the context of personality traits, mainly addressing the issue of problematic usage. Sure. That makes sense to me. I mean, how often do we link personality to stuff? You know what I mean? Originally released in 2009 by developer Riot Games, League of Legends gameplay consists of matches that are contested by 2 teams of 5 players each. The main goal of each team is to destroy the Nexus, which is the final objective in the enemy's base. Several sub-objectives must be completed along the way, and players strive to complete them while also defending against the opposite team. Being a team game where players have to be cohesive in the pursuit of a common goal. I mean, yeah. I mean, here's the thing too. Most games in esports, when you really think about it, are team games. So it's rare to have a single player game. So I think it's even more important in esports to learn how to be a good teammate. And here's the thing though, that makes it challenging in esports. Oftentimes, you don't ever hear, physically have contact with these people, unless like you're on a team and you physically have to go to the compound to play, you know, then you can kind of interface and be with these people. But oftentimes you are playing with them online. It's hard to interact with them if you don't see, touch, get to be around them. You lose some type of communication with them. So even more so, it's important for you to be a good teammate or be able to understand people or your person that you're playing with or the people that you're playing with to be a successful team, which I think in general is kind of hard. I'm thinking about COVID too and how like some players or people in general had like a whole couple years to like not communicate or interface together. And I think that jacked up some people's development. But in general, it's really important if you want to be a good esports player or you really want to take esports seriously, that not only do you have to be good at your game, but you also have to be good at being a good teammate and understanding people. Like I think that's such an underrated skill that players don't understand, because sure, you could be really good at the game, but if you're not a good teammate or no one wants to play with you, you may not last that long in esports, you know? At the same time, it kind of depends on your purpose. Like, for example, are you trying to be a streamer? Because if you're trying to be a streamer, say in League of Legends, it might not matter. And in fact, it might be encouraged that you're kind of a jerk and like you flame people and you troll because people like to see chaos on Twitch. But at the same time, if that's not what you want to be a streamer or to be a solo queue player and that's your brand, if you actually want to take it to the next level and be a pro athlete or collegiate athlete or, you know, an amateur tier 2, tier 3 to try to go pro or whatever, it might be important for you to focus on the interpersonal, the people skills, the communication skills of how to be a good teammate. In addition to, of course, playing your game. All right. All right. League of Legends is somewhat comparable in function to other team-based sports. Its high level of competitiveness, where competitiveness has garnered an ever-increasing number of viewers. The 2011 League of Legends World Championships final attracted some 210,000 viewers, while in 2018 that number jumped to almost 20 million. Sick. Although some parallels can be drawn between esports and traditional sports, forming any predictions about the links between esport performance and personality traits based on the data available for the latter would be speculative at best. As such, this study provides an exploratory overview of this relationship by measuring the personality traits as measured by the Neo inventory. I like the Neo. What I like about the Neo is that it's not pathology based, which is great. of League of Legends players who vary in level, in-game performance, and achievement. That being said, given the nature of competitive and team-based endeavors, we suspect that lower neuroticism and higher levels of extroversion conscientiousness, and agreeableness may have been predictive of superior performance in League of Legends. Okay, low neuroticism, high extroversion, conscientiousness, and agreeableness. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 more. OC. Openness, conscientiousness. They're missing openness. I would also suspect that if they're using the ocean, it would also be higher openness. Okay. Participants. Okay, League of Legends were created via Facebook. Damn. In the League of Legends community, an invitation to complete the online questionnaire as posted to these groups. Okay. 18 female. Nice. 206. Damn. But only 18? But skewed. So skewed. Okay. Prior to providing data... Where's the other thing? Okay. So the people that took this test was 18 to 27. Most of them were 19. Around 20, sorry. Okay, so secondary, primary, secondary, vocational. Okay, so there you go. All right, I'm gonna skip through this real quick. Yes, the Neo. The Neo is the ocean. All right, Neo is a 5-factor inventory. I think the Neo is expensive. Not expensive yet. Okay, results. What's this fast? This is gonna be a quick one tonight, bro. All right. For the purpose of the statistical analysis, our participants were divided into 2 groups of lower and higher. As we had no respondents from the Challenger division, we created the groups by combining the 3 lowest bronze, silver, and gold, and the 3 highest platinum, diamond, and masters division that were represented in our data. Okay, then they use it in Innova. Oh, I wish they had it. I wish I could see it on local. All right, there was a significant... Okay, let's go to the discussion. All right, the main purpose of the study was to examine the link between personality traits and success in League of Legends. Our results indicate that the traits of extroversion, agreeableness, and openness... That's what I thought. I thought it was going to be openness because openness to experience, openness to ideas, openness to like ways to play the game. I think openness also dictates adaptability. So that's why I'm saying like, oh, I thought it was going to be there. Significantly differed between lower and higher ranking players in League of Legends. Another thing that I'm wondering if how this relates to personality traits is like the Dunning-Kruger effect, you know, where maybe when you are, where is it? Maybe when you're bronze, silver, and gold, you think you know a lot, but as you continue to climb through platinum, diamond, master, challenger, I think it's important to understand that you know something, but you don't know everything. Like I think in iron, silver, bronze, gold, I think what you're really trying to do is you're trying to really create a schema or a mental model of how the game is supposed to be played. So in that mental model, there are rules like you do this or you do not do this. It's like very concrete, black and white thinking. And here's the kicker. In general, you can kind of tell people who are very smart versus people who are maybe becoming more smart, depending on how open or closed their mind is. Because I think when you are becoming smarter, you need to have a certain grounding in rules or black and whiteness, all or nothingness, because you need to understand what it is or have a firm foundation in what you know. But after you start building and climbing and get more knowledge and more information, the word depends becomes a lot more apparent. Because someone would say, oh, is this good or bad? If you are iron, silver, gold, you're going to say, yes, this is good or this is bad always. But as soon as you get up to master, diamond, challenger, you're going to say, well, it depends. In this situation, it might have been good or bad, given this scenario, this snapshot scenario. But in another snapshot scenario, it might not be as good. So I think when you're becoming smart, you have a more rigid mindset. You have more rigid rules about what is good or bad or how the game, quote unquote, should be played. But as soon as you get to higher levels, the word depends, the openness becomes a much more important trait, because you need to understand different positions or understand different scenarios and how those factors of the scenarios work to make it good or bad. Also, I think it's going to be really important when distinguishing someone who's coming up and learning that, what was I going to say? There was something with black and whiteness and depending. I'll come back. Bobby's snoring. Distracted. Okay. I thought he was going to be in the bed, but he loves stream, I guess. He loves stream and being with his pets. Alright, so this was... Okay, so it was, let's say... I would even go iron. They didn't say this, but I would say this. They said it was between bronze, silver, and gold. I'll throw iron in there. Okay, so iron. Bronze, silver, and gold. And then I'll write no challenger, but I'll put that in there. It was platinum, diamond, master. Plat. Is it IA or AI? I cannot spell. IA. And then master. And I would also put shell. There. Okay, so this one, I would say... Okay, so they said... So they said extroversion, agreeableness, and openness significantly differ between lower and higher ranking League of Legends player. Due to the team-based nature of League of Legends, one may expect that the traits of extroversion and agreeableness relate positively to performance. Here's the kicker though. This was not the case, with the lower ranked players exhibiting significantly higher scores for both of these traits than higher ranked players. Ooh, okay. And I think the thing that is important, though, to state is that these rankings came from solo queue. It wasn't like they took the rankings of these people from different teams like, I don't know, Fnatic or 100 Thieves or Liquid, you know, like pro players. They got them off of Facebook. So you have to consider that these results are from solo queue. So that's what the I'll put that here. Solo queue players, because the reason I'm putting this here as the asterisk caveat is because solo queue is not the game. Solo queue is a version of the game, and if you think that solo queue is the game, it's not. Not quite, because what you watch pros do, that's the game. When you watch pros, what you're watching is team coordination. You're watching hopefully good communication. What you're looking at is actual like teamwork, versus in solo queue, you have the idea or the assumption that everyone has the same goal of winning the game. At the same time, the reason that you get tilted is because how often does that assumption go boom? Like, you think everyone wants to win, but then some people think winning is trolling and making people upset, or all chatting and, you know, tilting others. Like, that's winning for people. So maybe, yes, we're all trying to win the game, but maybe winning needs to be further defined and the game needs to be further defined of what that means. So again, this data is from solo queue. So if you want to, the context is, if you want to climb in solo queue or get better in solo queue, these are the personality traits for it, not actual professional play or team play. Okay, so they said extroversion agreeableness. Okay. Okay. The result is opposite to that reported in research on team-based sport players. Again, I think the reason why it would be opposite for team-based, or what did they say? Why I think it'd be opposite for team-based sport players. A, the context is different. For example, I think team-based sport players, there's a system to train them. There's a system to encourage teamwork. There's actual consequences, physical consequences sometimes for a lack of teamwork. Versus in esports, sure, you die and it feels bad getting killed, but there's not anyone going to hit you, slide you, push you, cut you down because you missed a block or something in esports. So I think even there, you can make the comparison there, but at the same time, it's kind of like apples and oranges to me, you know, or apples and celery to me. They're both crunchy. They're both good for you. At the same time, they're completely different families of things. Because again, when you're comparing traditional sports to esports, I can see why you make that comparison. At the same time, the activity is completely inherently different. Okay. Although lore agreeableness was previously linked to better sport performances. Yeah, I mean, I think in sport performance is true. I still think agreeableness would probably be better at the professional level or at the team level at higher levels than here. But again, we're talking about solo queue. All right. Lower agreeableness and extroversion in the higher division group may be explained by the fact that the ranking is measured by individual performance. It may be possible that players who are highly focused on themselves during the game and do everything to carry the game on their own are more successful. Absolutely, because we're talking about solo queue. So if you are playing by yourself in the solo queue environment, you level up by yourself. Of course, you might be more selfish, especially if you're playing a carry champion in solo queue. Because, bro, tell me top laners, how often you slam Ornn? Because you like playing Ornn. No one really likes playing Ornn. or if you do, bless you. You're doing God's work. We love you. You know, or who likes to slam in a tank like Sion or something? Or do junglers slam like Sejuani? No. Probably like a Lee Sin. You know, junglers want to play selfish and carry the game. Obviously. You know, not many people like playing tanks just for fun. In solo queue. But in team play, of course, someone's got to be the tank, right? Someone's got to have CCs. Someone's got to do that job or whatever. So, of course, you're going to play it. But in solo queue and practicing it and being happy about it, oftentimes people would rather, you know, step in dog doo-doo. This is important, though, to say. Because, again, the context here is in solo queue. In solo queue. Okay. Yes. Carry the game. Yes. All right. Despite the fact that League of Legends is a team game, Despite the fact that League of Legends is a team game, teams and hence co-players change with every ranking game. This means basically they're saying you're change teams. This means that there is a high degree of variance in terms of team performance from match to match, which may mean that a self-centered approach to the game is a good strategy to maximize ranking in the long term. Yes, in solo queue. That is a caveat here. Because, yes, I think that if you do try to do team stuff, it's hard because you may not, I mean, if you play for the team at a lower level, it may be inherently harder because maybe the team does not have the same skills to continue that lead or know what to do with that lead instead of you knowing yourself and being able to carry it by yourself. You know what I mean? But in team play, you definitely need to make sure that you're able to play with your teammates. You can talk with each other to play with each other to win the game as a team. All right. Openness also differed between our groups, with the higher ranking players scoring higher on the trait than lower ranked players. Yes. That makes sense to me. Openness. Two ends. People with higher levels of openness tend to be more flexible and creative. Yes, sir, bless sir. Because you're open to ideas, you can integrate other people's ideas. You can see things from different perspectives. At the same time, too much openness is bad because then you don't, or maybe not optimal, because then you aren't able to have a strong sense of a baseline of play versus, oh, okay, we do whatever we want. For example, too much okay, an example of that would be, what do you want to eat? I don't know, whatever you want to eat. Oh my God, sometimes you want to choke that person because you're just like, just tell me what you want to eat. I don't know what I want to eat. Whatever you want. Stop being so open. Just tell me. Should we take the dragon? I don't know, whatever. Well, how do you think how can we play the game? Whatever you guys want to do. Especially when they're playing a carry champion. All right, in the context of League of Legends, which is a game that is constantly changing over time and hence requires players to adapt, it may be the case that players with lower levels of that trait struggle to adjust to the variable game environment and hence perform worse. Yep. Absolutely. I think that's true because, like, when you're playing, again, bronze, iron, bronze, silver, gold, there's a lot of shoulds. I should be doing this. And when it's not happening, or when things are happening and they're illegal and they're not supposed to be happening, those shoulds get in the way because you have a very limited way of playing the game because of your knowledge, of your experience, of what you know. So when things don't go in the way that you think they should, it gets frustrating. Another example of this for me would be like learning teamfight tactics, where you have like one composition and you know how that one composition works. And of course, you need to have a solid foundation of the game and that one composition, because from that one composition, then you can learn different role styles or role strategies or what this one competition builds into. But until you understand, I don't know, how items work and who gets certain items or how that one composition works, if anything happens, you don't get the cards you want, you don't get the items you want, you don't get them when you want them. It becomes very frustrating because you don't know how to play the game in more ways because you only know how to play it this one way, you know? And that's why it's very rigid. But as soon as you get more mastery of the game, you can think more, and then that openness is actually a good trait versus, oh my God, I'm so open to learning all these different types of compositions. I have my comp master on the side trying to think of all the compositions. Are you truly learning the game from a certain point, or are you just like plugging and chugging from this website, you know? The other trait that we expected to differ in our two groups was neuroticism. It is well established that athletes, as well as poker players, exhibit high emotional stability. Yes, sir. High emotional stability. They're even more tempered and less susceptible to negative emotions like stress or worry. Again, so when I think of neuroticism, it is the ability to use excitatory or inhibitory responses to mediate or manage your perfect emotional state of being to perform. So, and neuroticism is the up and downness, I would say, versus the emotional stability. Not I'm so neurotic, right? And that negative connotation, but it's the up and downness of your emotions versus the stability of your emotions and how you experience them or how you're able to regulate them. as well as poker players, exhibit high emotional stability, i.e., they are more even-tempered and less susceptible to negative emotions like stress or worry. In our study, the results show no significant relationship between neuroticism and League of Legends performance. Interesting. Solo queue's a wild place, bro. Okay, it may be the case that our sample, which consisted of competitive but not professional players, did not experience the same levels of pressure to perform as professional athletes. That's a good caveat. I like that. I would say, you know, if I was going to guess though and project, I would say neuroticism. I mean, more neurotic here. If this is Ryan's, right? Ryan's rant. My thing would probably be neuroticism here. Again, this is not the study. This is just Ryan. Did I spell that? Neuroticism. Oh no. I put neuroticism here because if you're tilting, if you are unable to manage your emotions, that's probably a skill that is preventing you from getting to higher levels of play. Because if your emotions get the best of you and you're unable to focus, then you're unable to, or it's more challenging for you to focus on the game instead of, oh my god, this is so stupid, get me out, FF. But that's interesting that they didn't find any differences, but I do like how they said that it's probably because the solo queue pressure is not as high as pros. Absolutely. And I would agree with that. I would agree with that. Okay, since high levels of neuroticism predicts higher stressors intensity and lower stressors control, emotional stability might be crucial for professional League of Legends players, but not for amateurs. Woo! At the same time, I'm wondering, is that what separates professional players from amateurs? That they're actually able to control their emotions or their stress or manage their stress, control their emotions or manage their stress better than the average bear. And I would say probably. At the same time, I would also believe that that's the difference between a rookie and a veteran, where a rookie might be on stage, they might be hearing the crowd, they might be not used to these other stressors that may impact their play, versus a pro's like, bro, I've been on the stage before, I've seen these people heckle me, what's a fan, we're gonna do signings after this, win or lose, whatever, it's part of the game. Like, just that normalizing of what's happening may decrease the stress to allow them to focus on the actual performance, because they're not paying attention to as many stimuli because they're used to them already, versus a rookie or an amateur. Okay. In the case of conscientiousness, as is an indicator of individuals being hardworking, organized, persistent, and achievement-oriented, we might have expected a positive relationship with League of Legends performance. We did not find such a relationship, and it may, again, be the difference between the true professionals and avid players. So I would, Ryan Rant, put this here. It would be conscientiousness. On VON. IEN. Oh. TIOUS. TIOUSNESS. Conscientiousness. Rough. All right. It is perhaps not surprising, as video games are primarily a form of entertainment. Sure. I mean, I guess the other thing is, what are you playing your game for? You know what I mean? But I agree with that. I think that is the difference. Maybe conscientiousness harder to identify in a solo queue environment. At the same time, probably in a pro team environment, probably very, very important. But solo queue, you need to focus on yourself and your skills and your character versus the team. Sure, the team is important, bar none. At the same time, when you're in a solo queue, solo by yourself, maybe the emphasis is the solo-ness. It is important to note that this study is not free from limitations. First of all, given the observational and cross-sectional nature of the study, the inference regarding causality between personality traits and esports performance is limited. Second, because of the nature of the independent variables, it was necessary to divide the whole study group into two subgroups based on division indicator. A continuous indicator performance, such as matchmaking rating, would be preferable, as well as a larger sample size to increase statistical power, and the inclusion of challenger division players into the analysis. Yes, I think another really awesome thing would have been the contrast between pro players and amateur players, or solo queue players and pro players, or even, I mean, I would even also be interested even solo queue versus tier 2 or tier 3. You know what I mean? Because then you're introducing the actual team versus the solo. Okay, in addition, given the paucity of female respondents, 18 out of 208 or 206, something like that, only one game within one particular genre was examined. Oh, sorry. The current results cannot be generalized to players of both genders. Furthermore, it is in this present study, only one game within one particular genre was examined. It would be of great interest to see the personality correlates a performance differ between types of games. Yeah, that's true. I like that. As game genres are generally defined by their unique gameplay mechanics, and these mechanics place unique demands on their players, it is likely that different aspects of personality will be most related to performance across genres. Lastly, as League of Legends is a team game, further research should examine whether professional players and non-professional high division players differ. Since League of Legends professionals are part of five-person rosters, they may have different characteristics to be able to constantly cooperate in such teams. In summary, we're able to demonstrate a link between performance in League of Legends and personality traits of extroversion, openness, and agreeableness. Our results only partially overlap with the sports literature, mainly the traits of agreeableness and openness, which suggests that esports as a competitive activity require or attract a unique set of personality traits. However, this comparison should be interpreted with caution due to the general paucity of data on esport performance and personality. To conclude, this study provides the first evidence to our best knowledge of a link between video game performance and personality in general, and thus opens a new avenue of research. We hope that the future studies will add to this initial body of knowledge to further elucidate the nature of this relationship. So, I think from here, this is really good. I think this is important to talk about this piece here. Again, the caveats is, this is solo queue. They did not even include challenger players for mostly males. Because we can't really generalize, because there's only like 18 females out of 208 participants or something like that. And also around 20. So the interesting thing about this too is the study was done with players whose brains were not fully cooked. I mean, some were fully cooked, right? Your brain finishes cooking when you're 25. But this, let's see. Here. So these are some things to consider. 18 to 27. Why this is important to consider is because, we need to understand that these people who did the study, first of all, their even frontal lobes aren't developed. I mean, 27, yes, you are. 25, you're not. But also, if your brain's not even fully cooked, your personality doesn't finish condensing until you're 30. So even these personality traits are subjected to modifications depending on life experience or whatever. into the future. At the same time, the most interesting thing would be to look at how many 30-year-olds are playing at the professional level, or maybe it would be a more stable study would be looking at 30-year-olds using League of Legends across each level, because once you're 30, your personality traits are more solidified, so you have a more accurate interpretation of these results. You know what I mean? Because the median age was 20. And they're all still in school, basically. So, I think that's important to consider when thinking about this study. It is also really important to consider that solo queue. I really do like the way that they kind of explained why extroversion and agreeableness might be helpful for you to climb through these. And then why openness is an important trait as you continue to climb through Master, Diamond, or Plat, Diamond, Master. And I would also include Challenger and Emerald. Because once you have this knowledge base of how to play the game, you need to be open enough and understand how it's not an always, but it depends, and why in the situation it's good, or how to play in this composition and why your character is good. Also, I'm thinking these, of course, one tricks exist, you know, but I'm thinking probably in bronze, silver, and gold, there are more one tricks, because if you're actually trying to learn the game, it's important to play a consistent position so you understand that game from that perspective. Not only that, but if you want to get more specific, it's going to be important to play the game from that lane using a specific character. So if you can run it down again and again and again, bot lane playing Miss Fortune, bot lane playing Miss Fortune, you understand how Miss Fortune works. You understand Miss Fortune's range. You understand Miss Fortune's combos. And then you build your mental model of how to play the game bot lane through Miss Fortune. Then as you continue to progress, you might change your character. So the next variable that you're playing with is, I don't know, Caitlyn in bot lane. Or I don't know if there's a more similar character. Maybe it's Sivir. Maybe Sivir is closer to Miss Fortune. I don't know, chat. Whatever you think would be closer. So you can kind of like take a character that has certain traits, that plays a certain way, that has a certain range, and then you can play another character that has maybe the similar range, because again, if you think about learning, what we're doing is we're limiting the variables that we need to consider playing. So yes, we're keeping bot lane consistent. We're keeping the range of the characters consistent, but maybe they have different buttons and abilities. But again, their auto attack range is similar. Or maybe we'll play early game champions, because early game champions have the same power, or maybe more powerful during the early game, and we get to learn how to play the game more powerfully, and then how it scales back, and then we just understand how to play that cluster of champions. Again, the way that I think iron, bronze, silver, and gold players need to progress is by understanding and doing science and keeping variables consistent so they know how to play the game. Thus, they can become more open to learn how to play the game using different variables. But that can't happen unless you have a strong sense or strong foundation, strong starting mental model of how the game plays from your perspective in that lane using a character. I think extrovertness and agreeableness in these lower levels, quote unquote, might be more helpful, because maybe this helps your confidence. Maybe agreeableness, like you go with ideas of the team, or what people tell you, so you can learn better and faster. You know, I would also say neuroticism probably is more common in these lower levels, and the reason for that is the more variability in your emotions, the more challenges you have in managing your stress and your emotions distract you from learning the game, or distract you from learning the character or the position and things. So that's just another barrier or distractor that prevents you from learning, thus hampering your games, thus losing more, thus keeping you here. The bad thing that I think with neuroticism is when people then label themselves as terrible and bad at the game versus I'm just terrible and bad at managing my stress or being more even keel in tilting or the stupidness or the randomness in the game. So if you aren't climbing, but you have a strong champion understanding the game, maybe it's important to look at your emotional stability, the tilt, the stress management, and maybe that's the next skill that you need to learn to get to Plat, Diamond, Master, Challenger, Emerald. Again, I think openness is really important for Plat, Diamond, and Master to expand their perspective or the dependence of the game, to keep, I don't know, different strats in their back pocket, different picks in their back pocket, being open to feedback and criticism so they continue to learn. I think that's really important. And I'm thinking maybe conscientiousness might be also important to consider, because of the persistence, of the awareness, of the mindfulness of what's happening in the game, to continue to pick out those details that they need to learn to continue to climb. That's how I break down this article. You know, I think it's going to be really interesting, though, when you think about yourself, and you think, well, first of all, there is a way that you can take the Ocean, the Big Five. So just Google Big Five test, and you can take it. I don't think you can take the Neo. I think the Neo you actually need to pay for, or you need to get someone to administer it to you. I don't think you can take that one. But there is open source Ocean, so maybe you can even see for yourself if you take that test, or you fall on the Big Five. And the Big Five is openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. Those are Big Five. So you can take this test, see where you fall. But mind you, if you do fall in these categories, it's not saying that you aren't able to climb because of these things. It's just being conscious of how these things may affect how you climb. That's it. That's it. I actually kind of like that this article was short. Not gonna lie, it was pretty sick. It was pretty sick. I enjoyed. Okay. Oh, that's not the button. That isn't the button. All right, my friends. Well, happy first. Please don't be a fool out there. I'm super stoked that you guys were able to come and hang out and chill. If you want to learn more about me and how I can support you, please visit my website, psychsensei.com. While you're there, fill out a free consultation form, and you and I can sit down, figure out your win condition. Or, hey, if you are interested in this personality stuff, maybe I can, as a psychologist, we can actually maybe look at your personality, run a couple of different things, and see how your personality, your preferences affects the way that you game, affect the way that you learn, and maybe we can create a plan for you to figure out your win condition and start working towards it and start climbing today. In and out of game, baby. But yes, I think today is might be my only stream for this week. I'll be back maybe next week, or maybe there'll be a surprise stream here and there. But catch me again. I'm trying to fill the 6 o'clock. I know I was late, 6:30 time, PST. But yeah, thanks for coming to hang out. Please be safe. Please be warm. Please check out my website. And as always, remember, stronger mental wins. All right, friends. Love ya. See ya.